Parker Schnabel isn't just chasing shiny metal buried deep in the frozen Yukon soil. He's fighting against time, weather, economics, and the expectations of millions of viewers who tune in every season. On the surface, the story seems simple. Dig up gold, sell it, make a profit. But the reality is far more complicated. The costs of ripping treasure from permafrost-hard ground are soaring. The machines are fragile under brutal conditions, and the dream of striking it rich often collides with a harsh truth. The numbers rarely add up. Season after season, Parker and his crew push themselves harder. Yet even with their dedication, setbacks pile up. Frozen earth feels like concrete. Breakdowns happen when they can least afford them, and the promise of riches can suddenly dissolve into the disappointment of falling short. Season 15 was supposed to be different. It was supposed to be Parker's crowning achievement. But instead, the dream began slipping further away with every day of digging. For the first time in 14 years of relentless mining, Parker's goal numbers didn't materialize. The crew fought tooth and nail, running shifts that would break most people. Yet at the end of the season, the scales told a story of failure rather than triumph. Or at least, that's how it looked. What shocked viewers later was that the crew walked away with paychecks so large, they didn't even match the disappointing goal totals. This raised the burning question: where was all that extra money really coming from? At the start of season 15, Parker set one of the boldest goals of his entire career: 10,000 ounces of gold. To the casual viewer, that's just a big number. But in reality, 10,000 ounces translates to over 600 pounds of pure treasure. Nearly $30 million worth of yellow metal at market value. A goal like that doesn't just represent financial success. It cements a miner's place in Yukon history, placing them alongside the legendary names of the Klondike Rush. But if there's one thing mining has taught Parker, it's that nature doesn't negotiate. The weather in the Yukon is unpredictable, swinging from blazing summer heat to ice-laden winters that never seem to release their grip. The permafrost was thicker that year than anyone had anticipated, more like a fortress wall than soil. Every bucket of frozen ground, ripped up by their million-dollar machines, required endless hours of thawing before a single ounce of gold could be separated. Then came the breakdowns. Machines that cost millions to buy and hundreds of thousands to maintain suddenly acted like fragile toys. When a wash plant stopped running, or a dozer threw a track, the losses weren't just measured in repair bills. They were measured in gold they couldn't recover. Tens of thousands of dollars could vanish in a single day of downtime. The crew pressed forward, burning themselves out on 16-hour shifts, 7 days a week. Most people complain about a standard 8-hour workday, but Parker's men were living knee-deep in mud, with aching backs, numb hands, and a dream that seemed to be drifting further out of reach with every passing week. Eventually, Parker had to face a hard truth. 10,000 ounces wasn't going to happen. Swallowing his pride, he cut the target down to 8,000. Even that seemed achievable, until reality struck again. At the final weigh-in, the number flashed on the scale: 6,837 ounces. To most people, that's an incredible haul, worth more than $18 million. But for Parker, who had risked millions up front and carried the weight of expectations, it was failure. The crew looked crushed. They had poured their sweat into the season, and it still wasn't enough. But behind the disappointment, something far bigger was about to reshape how viewers understood the Gold Rush universe. Mining is grueling, but the money can be life-changing. A rookie on Parker's team can expect to start at about $28 an hour. That might sound like a normal wage, but here's the kicker: they're logging 70 to 75 hours every single week. That turns in almost $600 a week. Over the course of a 6-month mining season, that's around $65,000 for an entry-level worker. For someone fresh out of high school or without a college degree, that's a staggering income. Veterans, however, see much more. Heavy equipment operators, mechanics who can keep million-dollar machines alive in impossible conditions, and foremen who keep entire operations on track are compensated anywhere from $80,000 to $150,000 per season. Parker also provides housing and meals, which might sound simple, but in a remote part of the Yukon, that adds thousands of dollars of value to each paycheck. And then there are the bonuses. Parker uses a performance-based bonus system that ties payouts directly to gold production. Every extra ounce pulled from the ground increases morale because it doesn't just help Parker, it fattens the crew's wallets. It transforms the job from just another paycheck into a mission. Every bucket of gravel washed, every machine kept running, every long shift in freezing rain carries the promise of a bigger reward at the end of the season. Not everyone qualifies for these bonuses, of course. Night drivers or newer hires often miss out. But for the key crew members, bonuses can make the difference between a good season and a life-changing one. This system is one of the reasons why Parker has been able to keep loyalty high, even in one of the toughest industries in the world. Here's where the whole story flips upside down. Viewers often think the gold mine from the ground is the entire prize, but in reality, the biggest treasure chest comes from the TV show itself, Discovery's Gold Rush. Parker, Tony Beets, and Rick Ness aren't just miners, they're television stars. Reports estimate that Parker and other top cast members earn between $25,000 and $30,000 per episode. With around 20 episodes per season, Parker alone could pull in over $500,000 just for appearing on camera. Even the supporting crew benefit from the television angle. While they don't make Parker's star salary, some key figures are estimated to receive around $10,000 per episode. Multiply that by a season, and they could walk away with an extra $200,000 to $600,000 on top of their mining pay. Suddenly, the disappointment over missed gold goals doesn't sting quite as much. This hidden income explains so much about the bold risks we see on screen. When Parker invests $15 million in a massive Dominion Creek operation, he isn't just betting on gold. He's betting on drama, because drama is what keeps viewers glued to their screens, and those ratings translate into Discovery Channel dollars. For the network, it's not about ounces of gold. It's about the story of struggle, risk, and reward. So just how wealthy is Parker Schnabel? Mining alone brings in an estimated personal cut of between $600,000 and $1 million a season. That's after paying his crew, covering equipment repairs, fuel costs, and expensive land leases. But that's just one piece of the puzzle. When you add television money, sponsorships, merchandise sales, and public appearances, Parker's estimated net worth climbs over $10 million. And all of this before his 30th birthday. In a world where most people his age are still paying off student loans, Parker is running a multi-million-dollar empire. But viewers often forget an important detail. While the crew is guaranteed their wages, Parker is the one who carries all the risk. If the season is a bust, the crew still collects their checks. But Parker is left holding the bills for payroll, fuel, parts, and land leases. The losses, when they come, are his alone. That willingness to shoulder the risk is part of what earns him the respect of his team. Every season, he bets everything, and more often than not, he finds a way to come out ahead. His empire isn't just built on gold. It's built on grit, branding, and storytelling. Without the show, Parker might have been just another miner in the Yukon. With it, he's become a household name, a symbol of youthful determination, and proof that fortune favors the bold. The story of Parker Schnabel and Gold Rush is much bigger than ounces of gold or the weight of each season's cleanout. On the surface, it looks like a straightforward mining show. Crews digging through mud, battling broken machines, and counting shiny nuggets on a scale. But dig a little deeper, and you'll see that what makes Gold Rush so powerful isn't just the gold buried under the Yukon permafrost. It's how modern reality television transforms brutal, backbreaking labor into global entertainment, and how that entertainment generates fortunes that go far beyond what's mined out of the ground. For the casual viewer, the weigh-ins at the end of each episode feel like the ultimate payoff. It's the moment of truth. The scales tip, the digital numbers climb, and the crew either bursts in a celebration or slumps in disappointment. Viewers get hooked on that tension, waiting to see if Parker and his team will hit their targets or fall short. But what most people don't realize is that the weigh-in is only half the story. The real money doesn't come from the gold. It comes from the cameras capturing every second leading up to that moment. Think about what Gold Rush delivers week after week. Viewers see million-dollar machines shattering under pressure. They watch arguments erupt between crew members exhausted after 16-hour shifts. They feel the suspense when storms threaten to wash away entire operations, or when fuel shortages put everything at risk. Every one of these scenes is carefully documented, edited, and crafted into episodes designed to keep millions of people glued to their screens. And every time those episodes air, they generate ad revenue, sponsorship deals, and licensing money for the network. For Discovery, the show isn't just about documenting mining. It's about creating drama, tension, and storytelling on par with any scripted series. The struggles and victories of Parker Schnabel, Tony Beats, and the rest of the cast are not just personal. They're the heart of a media empire that keeps audiences coming back season after season. Without the cameras, Parker would still be a minor. But with them, he's become a household name, his story broadcast to millions around the world. This is what makes the hidden economy of Gold Rush so fascinating. Mining is unpredictable. Gold totals rise and fall. A season can bring fortune or financial disaster. But television is steady. The show ensures that Parker and his crew can survive bad seasons, because the Real treasure chest is filled with production checks, episode payments, and brand deals. For the network, every dramatic breakdown or heartfelt moment translates into higher ratings and more money. For the miners, it transforms a risky job into a platform for long-term success. That's why Gold Rush is more than just a mining operation. It's a global franchise, a cultural phenomenon, and ultimately a media empire. The gold may fuel the story, but the real fortune lies in the millions of viewers watching Parker's journey unfold year after year. So, the next time you see Parker Schnabel and his crew knee-deep in Yukon mud, battling frozen ground and relentless breakdowns, remember this. The gold sparkling on the scale is only part of the story. Yes, it makes for exciting television and delivers the sense of triumph audiences crave, but the real treasure lies in what's being built off camera. Parker isn't just another miner chasing ounces. He's an entrepreneur, a reality television figure, and a sharp businessman who understands a simple truth of today's world. Stories often hold more value than the raw product itself. When each season wraps and the final numbers flash on the screen, Parker may fall short of his ambitious targets, or sometimes he may exceed them. But whether he hits the goal or not, the real jackpot continues to flow, from Discovery's production contracts, lucrative sponsorships, merchandise sales, and the power of his personal brand. That's why Parker stands out as one of the most intriguing figures in reality TV. In mining, as in life, fortune doesn't always come from the obvious place. Sometimes it's pulled from the earth. Other times, it's discovered in plain sight, broadcast on television screens across the globe. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the hidden side of Gold Rush, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. There's always another story waiting to be told behind the cameras.